guys, welcome back to another fun and exciting video. You probably see me right there because I'm going to be reacting to the largest animals to ever exist on Earth by Be Amazed. Make sure you like and subscribe to him before you watch me, because like he made the video, I'm just the one reacting and saying stuff and probably getting scared. Cause if I see a bug, I'm gonna scream and I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna jump out the window. Probably like yeah, probably like a whale, the blue whale. Actually, I've never seen him, so probably my dog. My dog is the biggest animal I've ever seen. Actually, an elephant. I've seen some elephants.
What they were able to do.
I don't know. I'm actually kind of scared. I swear I'm actually gonna get scared if I hear a bug. No! Why? The first one! They couldn't have waited the third one, or the fourth one, or the fifth one. But no! They had to put the first one as a bug, and I'm traumatized, and I didn't even hear what they said because I ran off. Ew.
This enormous creature goes down as the largest ever terrestrial arthropod.
If I was alive when they had those bugs, I would be
based on fossils found in Northumberland,
I would just disconnect. I would be gone. I don't think you guys know this, but my biggest fear, I don't have any other fears. Actually, I do. I have two fears: needles and bugs, especially bees. They like
it's been
scare me.
suggested that these big bugs could lift up their upper body like a cobra. However, paleontologists haven't been able to confirm this from fossil findings alone. Even so, can you imagine this thing rearing up and towering over you? On top of that, the arthropods.
Imagine fighting a bug, like just not even like stepping on it, but just fighting the bug.
Pounds. That makes it about the same weight as an average 14-year-old human child. Oh my God! Burn it with fire. For reference, the largest terrestrial arthropod alive today is the coconut crab. While these guys look horrifyingly huge in their own right, they're
crabs are okay. Honestly, crabs don't scare me at all. But it's just
the question
bugs.
is, what
I don't know what's
caused
wrong
these
with
massive millipedes to get so
I'm
big?
actually getting chills.
Well, during the Carboniferous period, oxygen levels in the atmosphere were greater than 30%, around 10% higher than the levels today. Thanks to the elevated oxygen, arthropods, which take on oxygen far less efficiently than mammals, were able to bulk up more than they'd be able to nowadays. I think I speak for all of us when I say, thank God for the drop in oxygen.
Yes.
Apicion haydeni.
Ooh,
well, arthropods aren't exactly cute. The same can't be said for dogs. They're man's best friend, no matter what shape or size they are.
Dogs
Although I'm not sure this one counts. You're looking at the Apicion haydeni, a prehistoric canine that lived during the Miocene
I was back then, and it was back then, and I saw that wolf,
these guys go down as
I would
the
probably
largest
try to tame
canines
it.
ever to exist.
I would turn it into my pet.
They were about the size of a grizzly bear, standing a horrifying 3
That's
to
not
4
that
feet
big.
at the shoulder and up to 8 feet long.
You could turn that into a pet.
This was the largest canid ever known.
No, you could even like ride it like
were also
like
pretty bulky, usually weighing in around 250 pounds, which is around the equivalent weight
that's
of
just like a
70
big horse.
chihuahuas.
No, like a
One
horse that's a
specimen
wolf.
on the bulkier side even exceeded that, with the humerus of one fossil specimen indicating it must have been at least 370 pounds. Incredibly, that also puts it at the weight of a small grizzly bear. But size wasn't the only thing these chunky canines shared with bears. They belong to the Borofunginae subfamily of canines, which translates to bone-crushing dogs.
I'm scared.
Yikes! Unsurprisingly, Apicion haydeni were equipped with extremely powerful jaws, robust molars, and incisive canines to take down pretty much anything that crossed its path. Fossils of their giant teeth and mandibles, which are some 6 inches long, reveal they were specialized to a hypercarnivorous, bone-crushing diet like hyenas, which curiously are not canids.
I'll just
these guys are still kicking about. They make the best guard dogs ever. Saying that,
is
I'm
not
not sure how
backwards,
comfortable I'd be with a bear-sized doggo in my house.
There we go. Now you have a better.
Okay. What would you prefer? Bear dog or 70 rats? Chihuahuas. Bear dog, hit that like button and
Chihuahuas are vicious, I swear. I'm not lying. Chihuahuas are like scary. Like big dogs are
Elephant
completely
bird.
fine, but chihuahuas
Much
and
like
Maine
canines,
Coons.
birds also come in all shapes and sizes. From teeny tiny
When
2¼
fun
inch
fact, when
bee
I was like
hummingbirds
a
to
toddler,
gigantic
I was at
ostriches
like
that stretch up
Mazatlán
to
or
9
something,
feet tall and weigh
and
in
I was
at up
walking
to some
along the pool,
300
and
pounds.
then
But
like
while
this crow
ostriches may top the
or
scale for
bird
largest
like
living bird,
came down
they're
and
no
it clawed
match
me in
for
the
one
head,
type of extinct
and then I fell in the pool.
fowl. Known aptly as elephant birds, these flightless giants strutted around the islands of Madagascar until they died out around 1,000 years ago. And they weren't just big. For perspective, this is one of their eggs. These are the largest bird eggs ever found.
You know, I
Each
used to
one
kind
was
of
in
like
excess of
birds.
12 inches long and weighed up
No,
to
I
a
don't know.
back-breaking 22 pounds, with a volume of 150 times greater than a chicken's
If
egg.
the egg is
In
that
modern
big, how
times,
big is the actual
ostriches
animal?
lay the largest eggs of any bird, yet they're only a seventh of the weight and half the height of the eggs of an elephant bird. But enough egg talk. How big were the birds themselves? Well, DNA from skeletal remains indicate that these flightless giants stood 10 feet tall, making them roughly a foot taller than
They're
the
almost
average
bigger than an
ostrich.
elephant.
Okay, that's a little bigger, I guess, but with the largest bird of the species, Apiornis maximus, clocking in at an ungodly 1,100-pound mass, they were 4 times heavier than ostriches. All that's left for me to say is that they are some exceptionally enormous birds.
No, let me get something.
Parapozosia
Just for that joke, let me get something. I'll be
separatensis.
back.
For
Let me
our next
pause
colossal
this.
critter, we've got to take a dive down into the depths of the ocean. It's here where you'll find cephalopods, the group that includes marine mollusks like the squid, octopus, and cuttlefish. The title of the longest cephalopod alive today goes to the giant squid. Name and
There's this like myth that octopus and octopus, like they're actually aliens because I think they have like some type of like aligning DNA with them, and yeah. Oh, my veins are showing. Yeah, some of my veins are showing right now.
some cases they grow to over 42 feet. Granted, most of this length is in its tentacles, with the body span being
Wait, that's
closer to 8
actually
feet.
huge.
Length isn't the only sizable things about these squid, though.
Dang.
They've also got the largest eyes in the animal kingdom. At up to 10 inches in diameter, their peepers are about the same size as a human's head. Measuring in 33 feet
Ew.
long, colossal squid are ironically
It's kinda
slightly
gross.
shorter than their giant cousins. Despite that, their chunkier body makes them the heaviest living cephalopod, weighing in at a hefty 1,100 pounds, close to double the weight of a large giant squid. Surprising as it may seem, neither the colossal or giant squid are the world's biggest cephalopod, though.
Oh no.
Instead, that accolade goes to Parapozosia sepinradensis. Easy for me to say. These ammonites
That's a
or
snail.
shelled cephalopods lived way back during the late Cretaceous period between 166 million years ago. The largest fossil shell of this astonishing ammonite was close to 6 feet in diameter.
That's not
However,
that big.
this was an incomplete specimen with estimates that a whole shell had 11-foot wide diameter,
That's
meaning based
kind of
just
big,
on
but
their
it's not
shells alone,
that big.
these chunky cephalopods would dwarf
I
us
think
humans.
those two are bigger.
Even more impressively, the Parapozosia sepinradensis shells alone may have weighed over 1,500 pounds. That's almost a third more than the colossal squid, and that's just this
What do you
thing's
mean?
shell.
That is
The
bigger
total
than
weight
that.
of
I'm
these
looking
beasts
at them
may
both,
have
and that is way
exceeded
bigger.
3,200 pounds, or 1.6 tons.
Just because it weighs a lot doesn't
How
mean it's
come they
bigger.
got so big? Well, one study assessed historical ammonite finds and argued that pressures from predators at the time forced these ammonites to evolve to be bigger and therefore harder to hunt, though their findings were inconclusive. Well, I think it's a miracle these giants didn't just sink to the sea floor. Gigantopithecus blacka.
Monkeys! There was no
Those
monkeys.
living primates in the world.
I'm happy now.
Full-grown males stand 5.5 feet upright, while their massive muscular bodies weigh as
So
much
that's
as
a monkey from now, right?
485 pounds. Intimidating as these gorillas look, there once existed a primate that would have made even them nervous. Only tooth and jawbone remains of the
It looks like they have
Gigantopithecus
lions.
blacki have been discovered to date, but they're so large that paleontologists estimate that this prodigious primate would have towered up to 10 feet tall weighing
That's a
staggering
real life King Kong.
1,200 pounds. Sadly, though, the Gigantopithecus blackeye's formidable frame is what led to its downfall. While it was likely a herbivore, due to its size, it would have depended on a large amount of food like fruits, leaves,
So
and
they
forest
had
plants.
King Kong.
However, around 100,000 years
That's
ago,
probably
global
what King
warming
Kong
meant more
and
more forested
all those
area
gorilla
turned
movies
into
came from.
savanna landscapes, depleting
Some
the
guy
Gigantopithecus
back
blackeye's
then
food
saw this
sources.
monkey, was like,
Phew.
ooh, King
Ugh.
Kong.
I mean,
And then,
oh no,
yeah,
so tragic. Poor, absolutely terrifying
King Kong was
giant
real.
primate thing. Titanoboa.
I wish
Studies
they're
into
still alive.
phobias have loosely established that
Monkeys.
around half of
Not
all
the
adults
snakes.
feel anxious about
Actually, you know what?
snakes.
Snakes are okay.
3% of them
I
meeting
don't
the
really have
criteria
problems with
of a snake
snakes.
phobia.
I like
And
snakes.
to be fair, who
Just
can
not,
blame them when there are serpents like the
bugs.
30-foot-long and 550-pound
Snakes are fine.
green anaconda out there? However, things could be a
Um,
whole lot worse for those that get the
I
snake
actually have a
shakes.
pet
You
snake.
see, back around 60 million years ago, during the Paleocene period, the world was home to the biggest species of snake ever discovered, the Titanoboa. From the name, I bet you're thinking of a snake that can rear itself up above the tree line or that could take up the width of an entire road. And you're not far off. Based on fossils
Imagine
of a
if there was a
gigantic
snake that
vertebrae
big.
discovered in Colombia, which you can see compared to a regular anaconda vertebrae, archaeologists believe these sizable serpents could grow to a hair-raising 42 feet,
Dang.
over 7 times the length of an average human, and if it reared up just half of its body, it would tower over you at the height of a 2-story building. The Titanoboa are also estimated to have weighed up to 2,540
Oh, okay. You know what? Maybe I am
pounds,
scared of
which is as
snakes.
heavy as a small car and almost 5 times as heavy as a green anaconda. The good news? They weren't venomous. The bad news? They were constrictors. That's right. These 42-foot-long beasts got their meals.
I
by
feel like
fooling
that's worse
around,
because that's like a
crushing
painful
and
death.
asphyxiating whatever
Oh,
prey
I
they could
used
get
to
their
not
bellies
think that was
on.
painful, but now I just thought about it and I got
Thank God
chills.
these aren't still
Imagine
kicking
being
around.
squeezed
I mean,
and then
could
your
you
ribs
imagine if
crack
one of
and then
these snakes
like,
slid through a town?
ew.
They'd have to call the army in.
No.
Yep, these guys have serpently cemented their place as one
I'm
of the
actually
world's
getting
largest
chills now.
animals.
Ah! So
Arctotherium
cold.
angustodens.
Ooh, a
From
bear.
behind glass or on a screen, polar bears look pretty cute.
Bears
Up
look
close, though,
pretty
it's a more
good. I like
terrifying
bears.
story. These Arctic-based animals can weigh more than
One time
1,300
I was
pounds,
on
stand
at
as
Rio
tall as
Doso
5
and I
feet at
saw
the
this
shoulder,
bear.
and reach
There was
10
a
feet
baby,
in length,
and
making them not
we weren't
only
allowed
the
to go next
largest
to it
bear,
because
but the
like
largest living
the
land
mom could have been
carnivore,
nearby.
too. Yet they aren't the biggest bears to ever walk the planet. They're not even close. Going back 700,000 years, the Arctotherium angustodens was endemic to South America and takes the title for biggest bear ever. Take a look at this humorous specimen, which is the top bone of the front appendage.
It's not that big.
Here we have the humerus of a spectacled bear. They're about 160 pounds. Now this belongs to an American black bear, some 460 pounds. This gargantuan humerus is from Arctotherium angustodens, which paleontologists have concluded means the bear was somewhere between 2,070 pounds and 4,500 pounds. Even at the smallest, that's still about a third more than the biggest polar bear. When they stood on their hind legs, their fossilized remains suggest they would have reached a neck-breaking height of 14 feet. Even the paws of Arctotherium angustodens were huge. At a length of 15 inches, they're more than double the size of a
Okay,
human
information
hand.
hurts my brain.
Unfortunately
I'm
for
tired.
these big bears, their stupendous size also led to their downfall. Here,
Same thing
smaller
happened
and
to the
faster
monkey.
predators outnumbered and excelled against them, limiting their food source until they eventually died out 700,000 years
Oh,
ago.
no.
Thank God. I couldn't bear to think how intimidating it'd be to come across one of these
Bears
little
aren't that
giants.
scary. They're just big.
Sarcosuchus imperator. In Niger, West Africa, there was once a species of crocodilian that didn't
I
just
don't really
rule the
have
food
problem
chain
with
here.
crocodiles.
It dominated it. Now, modern-day
I mean, if I
saltwater
saw a
crocodiles
crocodile,
like this one ain't nothing
no,
to mess
no.
with.
If I saw a crocodile from now, it would be like,
weigh up to
oh, it's a crocodile. But
2,650
if I saw that
pounds.
crocodile, I would probably
The
be like,
largest and heaviest living reptiles in the world. Although
should run.
that's nothing compared to what was once known as the Sarcosuchus imperator, which lived during the early Cretaceous period around 112 million years ago. Based on skull and vertebrae fossils, paleontologists estimate these crocs grew up to 40 feet in length. while in terms of weight, they're likely to have packed on close to 9
And they
tons.
could
That
literally
makes this super croc
like
twice
swallow
the
you
length
whole.
and nearly 8 times as heavy as Lolong,
They could eat you like a
18-foot
pizza
long and
slice.
2,370-pound beast that was the largest crocodile ever held in captivity. If that wasn't fearsome enough, these abnormal amphibians had super long snouts too, filled with no less than 132 conical teeth, which were up to 6 inches long. Thanks to their bulky build and the fact that its teeth didn't interlock indicates to paleontologists that the Sarcosuchus imperator had the ability to ambush and prey upon anything that entered the water, whether it was a giant fish or even dinosaurs. Super croc? Yeah, super scary croc.
Yeah.
Paleoloxodon pneumaticus. It probably won't come as a surprise that the largest living land animal is the elephant. To be specific, the African elephant, with bulls reaching a shoulder height of 13 feet and a whopping weight of 12 tons. But somewhere between 2.5 million and 11,700 years ago during the Pleistocene period,
I'm
turns out
falling
there was an
asleep
even more enormous
because my
elephant on the
bedtime's
scene.
about going around the
Based on
corner.
the
It's almost
discovery
10.
of a partial femur estimated to be some 6 feet 2 inches long, paleontologists have estimated that an ancient elephant known as Paleoloxodon pneumaticus was an imposing
I have no
17
idea
feet
what he
tall at
just
the
said.
shoulder.
Dang,
They
that's like
towered over
big.
any modern day elephant. That also
That
makes them
thing's
taller
huge.
than a T-Rex and human.
It's bigger than a
On
T-Rex.
top of that, these bulky beasts weighed in at a whopping 24 tons, making them well over twice as heavy as an African elephant. I mean, one look at the skull of these guys tells you just how gigantic they really were, and at a staggering 12 feet long, their straight tusks were twice the length of an average African elephant tusk. In fact, one tusk alone is estimated to have had a mass of 260 pounds.
Imagine like
It's
having
more than
like
60
a
pounds heavier than the average American
like I
adult
bet you
human.
people back
All
then
that
used to have
crowns
like
these
little
ancient
like
elephants as the
had
largest
like
land mammals
elephant
to
swords or
ever
something.
walk the earth. Man, that's going to be hard to forget. Leadsichthys. Back in
Leadsichthys.
1886, on a farm in Peterborough, England, paleontologists discovered what they thought were the backplates of a stegosaurus. Except the more they uncovered, the more unsure they became of what this creature actually was.
It's a fish.
Turns out it wasn't a stegosaurus, or even a dinosaur, but the impossibly gigantic bones of the Leadsichthys fish. Crazy as that sounds, it was an easy mistake to make. Out of all bony fish, which are fish that have skeletons made up of bone tissue unlike the cartilage most have, the Leadsichthys is the largest. It's been claimed this freaky fish that swam out of the world's seas 165 million years ago stretched back an astonishing 55 feet.
Dang.
This freakish fish larger than a school bus and close to 10
That's the
times the size
Kraken.
of the average
No,
human.
that's like
Heck, these
that's a
things would make
megalodon.
submarines look like rubber duckies. Who knew fish could be so scary? Thanks to their gigantic size,
If
Leadsichthys
I was
would
like
also set back the
a fish
scales,
person or
weighing in
whatever,
at around 50
and I was like
tons.
in a submarine
Today, the
underwater
largest living bony
exploring, and I
fish is the
saw that,
formidable floating blob known as the ocean sunfish.
I'm done. I don't know what
As
I'm
you can
doing
see,
at that
these
point.
things
I
far
wouldn't have
exceed
any words.
humans
I
when
would
it comes
just
to size.
I would hide.
Ocean sunfish are only around
I would
20%
just I don't know
as
what I would do
long
with
as the
myself.
Leadsichthys, and even at some 5,000 pounds, are less than a 20th of their weight. Honestly, I'm kind of glad these don't exist anymore.
I'm tired
I'd
of this.
never go in the ocean
I'm
again
tired
if
and
they
I keep
did.
getting chills and it doesn't feel right.
Megalodon. We're actually
Megalodon.
staying underwater for now because this next colossal critter is so sizable, it'd have made even the Leadsichthys nervous. This is the... Wait, no. I just can't say it like he does. Jason Statham, take it away.
Megalodon.
Yes, while The Meg was a fictitious action film about a gigantic shark, the Megalodon itself was a real shark. In fact, it was the largest shark to have ever existed, and one of the largest
Oh, I
fish
also
in the
have
world, which
crickets.
terrorized the oceans
So
during
next
the
time he says
Miocene
joke,
and
I'm gonna do
Pliocene period,
crickets. I
approximately
have this,
20 to 3.6
and I have
million
this.
years ago. Now, exactly how big it could grow is up to debate, with all estimates based on tooth size, the largest verified specimen of which is a colossal 7.48 inches long. But why teeth? Because sharks don't have bones, their skeletons are made of cartilage, which doesn't fossilize well. Smaller estimates from the Natural History Museum put it at just 50 feet, whereas some researchers claim it could reach lengths as big as 82 feet. At the largest
Okay,
estimate,
that's a little
even the
bit too
average
far.
whale shark, the largest living
How does that even fit in
genus
the
fish,
ocean?
is no match for Omeg, reaching just half their length. Unfortunately for
Imagine
anything
if,
that shared
because we
the ocean
haven't
with these
explored like
terrors, the
90
megalodon's
something
massive maws
or
held some
70% of our ocean.
276 of these
So imagine
7-inch
there's
razor
like all
sharp
these
teeth,
extinct
giving it
animals,
an
like
estimated
huge
maximum
megalodons, are
bite force
just
of some
like underwater, just
182,000 newtons.
sitting there.
For contrast, a human's maximum bite force is around 1,317.
With IXL, there's an endless number of skills that match exactly what my kids are working on in class right now. And we
Hmm? Anyone else suddenly feeling a little more grateful for great whites? Titanosaurs.
That one
Dinosaurs are known as the largest
deserves
group
that.
of land animals that have ever walked the earth,
Or
but the
like,
herbivorous
no, I think that
sauropod
deserves an
subgroup was the
applause.
biggest of them all.
I don't know what I'm doing with myself anymore. I'm
Which
tired.
has to be the coolest thing ever. With immensely long necks and thick, squat limbs, they were well adapted to carry their huge frames and an obscene amount of weight. But how much exactly?
Why is his neck
Back
so
in
big?
1987, the biggest ever found was the Argentinosaurus, a dino from some 90 million years ago in the late Cretaceous period. Very few bone fragments remained, and from these limited specimens, paleontologists estimated the size of this thing was some 115 to 120 feet long.
Dang, that's
And
like
it could have
huge.
weighed in at an
Imagine if
ungodly
it stood up.
77 tons, roughly the same as 12 African elephants. Though this estimation was very rough. This was a huge discovery, literally. But then in 2014, something even bigger was found. The remains of the Patagotitan, a giant from 101 million years ago during the early Cretaceous period. This big beast's femur was over 8 feet long. That is just the top of the leg bone, and it's taller than an average human. From this, paleontologists estimated it could have measured in at a gargantuan 123 feet long.
Okay, now it's actually
weighing in at
huge.
63 tons. That's as long as 20 people laid down end to end and heavier than 9 African elephants. Holy cow. Or I guess, elephant in this case. So the biggest was the Patagotitan, but the heaviest is the Argentinosaurus. I mean, for now. Who knows? We might dig up something even bigger in the next few years. Whopping whales. There aren't many animals out there that can trump the titanosaurs for size. Sperm whales, which can make ships look teeny tiny, do come close, measuring up to 60 feet long and able to weigh more than 80 tons. But that's still not bigger
How are
than the
fish so big?
titanosaurs.
Like, there's fish that are
same
like
can't
this.
be said
No,
for
not
another
even that big.
modern
There's
day ocean
fish that are
dweller,
like
however.
so tiny,
Any guesses?
and then we get
Yep,
fish like
I'm
this.
talking about the blue whale, widely seen as the largest animal ever to exist on Earth. Surprisingly, though, in terms of length, they come up short on both titanosaurs, with individuals measuring from 80 to 100 feet long. Okay, so they may not have the length, but the biggest blue whale ever found clocked in at 210 tons, which is
How long
almost
is
triple
this?
the heavier Argentinosaurus. But amazingly, there once existed another whale that may have been even larger. Back in the Eocene period, around 39
If
million
it's
years
bigger
ago,
than Megalodon, I'm scared.
Eurycetus inhabited the world's oceans. With a length between 55
What
and
is that?
65 feet, it was very large, but was stunted compared to the blue whale. Despite that, paleontologists estimated this beast weighed up to 370 tons. For context, if this ancient whale did weigh 370 tons, it'd be more than 3 times as heavy as a blue whale. Imagine the fear of having one of
Imagine
these
that fell
bones
from the
big
sky and
swimming
just
under your ship.
splash.
But why do researchers think it was so big? Well, when the fossilized vertebrae of this beast were discovered, they weighed in at over 220 pounds each. It's believed that in spite of the Parasitus's shorter length, their skeleton would have weighed twice that of a blue whale's, with a mass between 5.8 and 8.3 tons. That's because typical bones are full of tiny holes, making them lighter. However, the bones of the Parasitus were solid throughout. In fact, they're so sturdy it'd be impossible to drive a nail into one with a hammer.
Dang.
So its skeleton was incredibly dense, like that of a manatee. From this, researchers have theorized that the heavy bones helped keep their bodies submerged as they fed, where the remainder of their body mass was made up by a tremendous amount of fat and muscle to keep them buoyant. Man, these guys take the meaning of big boned to a whole new level. The bloop. But gigantic as the blue whale and Parasitus are, they've got nothing on what some researchers believe is the largest animal to ever exist. To explain, we've got to go back to 1997. Back then, researchers for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, were listening for volcanic activity in the southern Pacific. To do this, they placed underwater microphones across the ocean. While they didn't pick up any volcanic activity, the scientists did hear a sound that shocked them to their core.
See, what did I say? There's things under there. The ocean is scary.
It may not sound like much, but the noise was so loud that microphones 2,000 miles apart were able to pick it up. Chillingly, NOAA's Christopher Fox noted that the sound
The
nicknamed the bloop contained
bloop!
a rapid variation in frequency,
I knew
similar
it.
to the sounds made by marine animals. Blue whales, for example, make a similar sound that can be heard up to 1,000 miles away, with their calls reaching 188 decibels, louder than a roaring jet engine. Now, considering the bloop's call was heard 2,000 miles away, you'd assume that it's got to be way bigger than a blue whale.
Oh, so that's
It may
around
be
right
hard
now?
to imagine a marine monster lurking at the bottom of the blue, but the deep oceans are still around 95% unexplored by
Oh,
humans.
no.
So who knows what's truly down there? Tamer estimations
Okay, now
theorize
I'm
that if
scared.
the bloop does exist, it would be 250 feet long, triple the size of some blue whales, almost big enough to prey on them. While some go as far as saying any creature that loud has to be around 700 feet long. That's 6 times
Okay,
longer than a
okay, this
titanosaur,
is a little
7
bit too
times
far.
longer than a blue whale, and 50 times longer than a great white.
Look at
But
that
there are some
elephant.
major
The elephant
doubts
is
over
nothing
its
compared to
existence.
that.
Today, most respectable
Okay, that thing is
scientists
actually
believe
like
that the bloop
huge.
noise was
And
actually the sound of the
that's
noise.
around right now.
This is a common
That's
occurrence
literally
in the
around
Southern
right
Ocean
now.
that's caused
They
by
heard
cracking
it.
and melting
They
of
heard
sea
the
ice and
bloop.
glaciers into the ocean.
Oh
As
no.
well as that, the infamous bloop sound is
We're all
typically
cooked.
played back at 16 times normal speed.
Instead of
giving
the
it
planet,
fact that
instead of
it
Planet of the
had
Apes, we're gonna have
vocalization.
Planet of the
In real time, the
Fishes.
sound is more
How
similar
is a
to that
fish
of
even
an
that
ice
big? There's fish that are this small. This small. How are some of them that big? I don't understand how this even works. I don't even care about the video anymore. I'm
Okay,
gonna.
so chances are the 700-foot bloop doesn't exist. Phew.
Oh.
So there is no supersized oceanic beast lurking in the dark depths of the Pacific. At least that we know of. Which
Kinda
of these
overreacting
gigantic
for
beasts
nothing.
impressed you the most? Have you seen any?
Well, bye guys. See you in the next video. You just watched me get scared over fish. Peace out.